my name is Ruth and I am here to talk about the Stair Steady. First of all, I thought I'd just give you some of the stats that inspired the product. I feel like I should lead with a caveat that this is not a product for everyone. There are users that will not be able to use this product, and I just feel like, yeah, your role in the industry, when you see it, you will understand. But this is not a product that is suitable for everyone, but hopefully this fills a gap. So obviously it's a preventative product for falls. The fact that obviously a lot of our population is living for longer and getting older, that actually we obviously have a big stairlift market, but actually the purchase of a stairlift comes quite late in life. In the private sector, it's quite high, and it's even higher in local authority. And the idea that we don't go from being fully stair able to a stairlift overnight. So I'll give you a little bit of background. So my name's Ruth, I'm an inventor. I'm sorry, I'm coming from talking to you from the workshop because it is the quietest place in my house at the moment. But I invented this product when I was at school. My teacher set me the challenge to design something for his dad. His dad had had a stroke. He wasn't very well, but his house wasn't suitable for a stairlift. His stairs were too narrow. The local authority wouldn't put one in. And this kind of his need for something to keep him steady was what was set for the project. And this project has been set to a number of students. I don't think any of them quite took it this far. But the actual product, the idea for it came when I was sat playing with a children's toy. So there's a toy which is a metal stick, and it has on the top of it either a cuckoo or a woodpecker. And when you kind of flick the bird at the top of the stick, it like zigzags down, and that uses friction. And that's the principle behind the product. I'll come into it in a little bit, but it's a very simple product, and the way that it works is quite simple. There's no electronics, and as part of designing this, I ended up being young engineer for Britain, and we launched this product quite a few years ago now at NADEX. So that's a little bit of kind of background story. This didn't come from a big company already within the mobility industry, although we do now work with a lot of fantastic companies. This came from me as a 16-year-old seeing a need, and I've developed this over the past 15 years. It's not the same product that came out of school, but it started with that. So the product works using friction. So you have go back again. So you have a support bar that you hold on to, and the handle folds out of the way at the top and the bottom, and it keeps the user active and able to use the stairs. So here's a little video of it in action. So this is actually a unit that's used for two people. It's actually set at the height for her husband, but you'll see her come up first. So you see it's quite a steep stairs. She's quite active, but she just has a little bit of trouble going up and down the stairs. So she can push the bar in front of her, and as soon as she puts any weight on it, it will lock. There is a set of spring pads inside. So if you let go of the handle, it will stay exactly where it is, and you slide it into place, and as soon as you have it in front of you, you can put your weight in it, as you would do with a walker. So think of it as like a walker Zimmer frame for the stairs, and it just allows the user to keep using the stairs straight on, so they're not going up and down the stairs sideways, and it allows the user just to have something to keep them steady going both up and down the stairs. So when you go down the stairs, you pull the bar back slightly and it slides, and as soon as you put any weight on it or you let go, it will lock in place, and it locks all the way down the bar, and then it has a circular section at the top and the bottom where it will fold away. So you can see she's slightly moving the handle just to get it to slide, and then at the end she can fold it away. And this isn't just a product for the elderly, this is for young people as well. This is the first time actually this little girl has used the stairs. I don't know if you can get the sound, but it's very adorable, and it's on my Twitter if you want to see the full video, but it's super cute. And as you can see, she's able to go up and down and support herself. She now goes on to say, can I show her how how to come down the stairs. This is one of our engineers that installed this for them. And it was the first time that this little girl had independently been able to go up and down her stairs. And she was so excited that she wanted to send me a video of it. So yeah, it's definitely the highlight of my career. But yeah, so we sell the Stair Steady a number of different ways. We have 15 mobility dealers that cover most of the UK. We sometimes sell direct to end users. So in areas where we don't have mobility dealers, we sell direct to end users, and we supply, usually through our dealers, to people who it might be recommended by an OT, or as part of kind of a home assessment. And obviously each trust is different, but we have a few places with independent living centres that have them as demos, so people can try and assess before they buy. I can see some of the notifications coming through. I'm guessing they're questions. I can't see them at the moment, so as soon as I finish presenting, we can go on to those. But yeah, the product is all about kind of falls prevention. So it's keeping people who are unsteady, so people that might use a walker, people who, I mean, we have a lot of users who have things like ataxia, on just generally unsteady, but aren't ready for a stair lift. If someone needs a stair lift or a through floor lift, that's what they need. They would not be suitable for this product, but it's for someone who has some mobility and just needs, you know, just a little bit of extra help going up and down. So it might be rehab as well. We have users who were amputees or who've had strokes or hip replacements, needing to keep active. We also have users that use it on the straight. So the videos on here are obviously on the stairs, but if on our YouTube channel, we have a video and a case study of a gentleman who used it for stroke rehab. So he has it along the end of a room and he uses it, he has a stair lift on his main stairs, but he uses the product to kind of get walking again and get his mobility up. And it's obviously not just for the elderly. We have lots of young people that use the product, and we also have a lot of bariatric users. The product is made of metal. It's very hard wearing. We tend to fit it in a number of different ways, but obviously you're going straight into the wall, so quite often we will use thunderbolts or resin, and obviously we assess what's needed depending on the weight of the user, but the product has been fitted for users who are 40 stone once the correct structural survey has been done by a structural engineer. So it's lots of different users, and it is that kind of step before the stair lift. Often users who need this are a lot younger, and a proportion of our users do go on to need a stair lift or to move house to a bungalow, but it's something to kind of keep them going. It's quite a subtle device, so obviously it clears the stairs for the users. You can't always tell that it's there. And this is a slide that always fills me with delight, because this is what customers say. So we obviously go back and ask them after having it installed. And they say that obviously activity levels are improve their sense of independence, sense of achievement, allows them to use the rest of their home, stops them from home isolation. We had, you know, a number of users who might be stuck in flats that can't get downstairs, and we have these on the corridor because, you know, you can have them in buildings where there are multiple users around. You can have multiple users of the product, but also because it is just a handrail, it can be fitted in a building without blocking the stairs or any worries about kind of fire escapes or things. But yes, and it prevents falls. So it has won a number of awards. It was the 2014 Best Established Product by the British Healthcare Trade Association, and it's won awards around the benefit for community and disabled. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Right, I'm guessing there'll be lots of questions.
There are.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's have so that there are a few. I guess there's one question about whether if it's used for a couple.
Yes.
Do you need to have a bar at the top and the bottom, or how does that work?
Yeah, so you'd have multiple bars. So each user would have their own bar, which would allow them, obviously, if they were getting up in the morning or going to bed, they would none of them would be stuck at the top or the bottom of the stairs. And a lot of our users actually will do that if one of them needs the product and the other one is a little unsure, but they think long-term planning wise, they might want that. It's a modular system, so that's something that can be added later on. So you can add an extra handle at a later date. So it doesn't have to be something that's decided up front. It does only work on, so we replace the whole handrail. So it's a special metal handrail, because obviously it takes the weight of the user. So it's a special metal handrail. It's made in the UK. And it's essentially a powder coated rail with the support handle coming off it.
And do you sell many into kind of local authorities at the moment, or is it more kind of private sales? Or
it's predominantly private, although we do have some. We work with mobility dealers who would usually kind of have those conversations around local authority stuff. It's something we'd like to do more of. The slight issue is we are really keen that our dealers don't end up driving up the price or driving down the price of the product. So we try and have enough dealers to cover the UK so that they're not competing with each other and then don't kind of end up with a pricing war going on, which can mean when local authorities need 3 quotes, for example, that can get a little bit tricky because they might only have 1 or 2 dealers in that area. But yeah, sometimes, we do joint assessments with occupational therapists. And I know our dealers do a lot of work trying to kind of foster those relationships as well.
Yeah, there's somebody in the webinar has used it successfully in a cottage in Cornwall. So
Cornwall, yes. I mean, things like, older houses, very narrow. Some cottages, I spend a lot of time in Cornwall, and some of the scariest users I've seen in very old cottages in Cornwall. Some woman used to tell me she used to jump from her bottom step and she used to steady herself on her stove, and it filled me with utter panic. So once she had the stair steady in, her life was completely changed. But when I first did the assessment, I had sleepless nights worrying about her jumping onto her stove.
Can you only use them on a straight staircase? Is it possible to go around the corner?
It doesn't do turns at the moment, mainly because of the cost. As you all know, if you want a curved stair lift, it costs more, but we do often fit on a dogleg stairs, we'll fit multiple units. So we tend to not recommend fitting it on a staircase that's smaller than 1 metre, but most of them, if there's some sort of split, we do 2 separate rails. And you have to remember that a lot of our users have some sort of mobility, so it's not necessarily a lot of them can do like a short flight of stairs, for example, with a little handrail, but it's mainly the long, the main flight of stairs. We do different lengths, so we have different kits, so they range from 2-metre kits up to 6 metres, and yeah, we kind of mix and match to get the right length that's needed. So we usually take rough measurements and then it's customised on site, so it's cut down for the user if that's needed, making sure that things don't get in the way, radiators, windows, all that sort of thing. But it's also quite a flexible product, and because we sell it in kits, but because you can mix and match bits and pieces, it is something that can be taken out of one user's home and reused, or for these, if it's a child, it can be moved up the wall as they grow and things like that.
Okay, so if so some of the local authorities will have their own handy person service, so could they order the kit from you direct and fit it themselves with a bit of training?
Yeah, with a bit of training. It's a relatively simple fit, and it is something we're quite interested in, training up more local authorities to be able to fit them. So if that is something of interest, please get in touch. Yes, it's if you're fitting kind of slightly more complicated products. A lot of our mobility dealers fit stair lifts and hoists. This is quite simple, but there is a little bit of a knack just to make it go quite smoothly. You can usually fit it a kind of straightforward staircase in a couple of hours.
Great. Well, thank you, Ruth. I've been following the Stair Steady from afar for a little while, so it's good to meet you and good to have you on the webinar. And it'd be good to keep in touch and see if we can link you up with a few local authorities and see if they're interested in fitting them. So
thank you for having me.
Thank you for today.